Our next topic is soil as a resource. What is soil? Soil is a material found on the surface of the earth that is composed of organic and inorganic materials. Soil is the most important renewable natural resource. It is a medium of plant growth and support different types of living organisms on the earth. Various factors are there which are responsible for the formation of soil. Because the soil takes millions of years to be formed, it takes near about for the formation of few centimeters of depth of the soil, it takes millions of years. And the various forces of nature, such as the change in temperature, actions of running water, wind and glaciers, activities of decomposers, etc., are responsible for the formation of soil. Beside that, the parent rock or the bedrock, climate, vegetation, and other forms of life and time are also important factors for the formation of soil. Beside that, you can say that the chemical and the organic changes which takes place in the soil also play in the formation of soil. Soil consists of organic, humus, and inorganic materials. On the basis of factors responsible for the soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties, the soils of India could be classified into different categories. Those different categories are alluvial soil, black soil, red and yellow soil, laterite soil, arid soil, forest soil. Now we will do the description of these soils. Alluvial soil. The entire northern plains are made up of alluvial soil. The alluvial soil is deposited by three important Himalayan river systems. Those are the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. It is also found in Rajasthan, Gujarat and eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of the Mahanadi, the Godavaris, the Krishna and the Kaveri rivers. The alluvial soil consists of the various proportions of sand, silt and clay. As we move inland towards the river valleys, the soil particles appear to be bigger in size, whereas in the upper side of the river valley, the soils are coarse. They depend on the age factor also, and the soil which depends on the age factor, we can divide the alluvial soil into two categories, that is old alluvial soil and the new alluvial soil. The old alluvial soil is named as Bhangar and the new alluvial soil is called as Khadar. The Bhangar soil has a higher concentration of conquered nodules than the Khadar. And the new alluvial soil, which is very fertile soil, it has more fine particles and it is the more fertile in comparison to Bhangar. Alluvial soils are very fertile. These soils contain an adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid and lime, which are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereal and pulse crops. You can see the picture of the alluvial soil. Now we will move to the next soil, that is the black soil. This soil is black in color and is also known as the regular soil. Climatic condition for this soil, it depends upon the parent rock material, that is the important formation of the black soil. The soil is ideal for growing cotton and is also known as the black cotton soil. This type of soil is typical of the Deccan Trap basalt region spread over the northwest Deccan plateau and is made up of lava flow. The soil covers the plateaus of Mahanadi, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and extends in the southeast direction along the Godavari and Krishna valleys also. The black soils are made up of extremely fine, that is a clay material and well known for their capacity to hold the moisture. Black soil is nutrients rich and contains calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. The soil is sticky when wet and difficult to work on unless tilted immediately after the first shower or during the pre-monsoon period. Our next soil is red and yellow soil. This type of soil develops on crystalline igneous rocks in areas of low rainfall in the eastern and southern parts of the Deccan Plateau. These soils develop a reddish color due to diffusion of iron in crystalline and metamorphic rocks. It looks yellow when it occurs in a hydrated form. These soils are found in Odisha, Chhattisgarh, southern part of Middle Ganga plains, and along the Piedmont zone of the Western Ghats. Fourth type of soil which is here is laterite soil. The laterite soil develops under the tropical and subtropical climate with the alternate wet and dry season. This soil is result of intense leaching due to heavy rain. Laterite soil are the acidic in nature and generally deficient in plant nutrient. This type of soil is found mostly in southern states, Western Ghats region of Maharashtra, Odisha, some parts of West Bengal and northeast regions. The soil supports deciduous and evergreen forest but humus poor. The soil is poor in humus. This soil is very useful for growing tea and coffee. Red laterite soil in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala are more suitable for crops like cashew nuts. Next soil is arid soil, which is found in the desert areas. Arid soil range from red to brown in color. This soil is generally sandy in texture and saline in nature. In some areas, the salt content is very high and common salt is obtained by evaporating the water. Arid soil lacks humus and moisture. The low horizons of the soil are occupied by the conker because of the increasing calcium content downward. The conker layer formation in the bottom horizons restrict the infiltration of water. But after the proper irrigation, these soils become cultivable as has been done in the case of Western Rajasthan. Next soil is forest soil. These soils are found in the hilly and mountainous areas. The soil texture is loamy and silty in valley sides and coarse-grained in the upper slopes. In the snow-covered areas of the Himalayas, these soils experience denudation and are acidic with low humus content. The soil is fertile on the river terraces and alluvial fans. In the snow-covered areas of the Himalayas, these soils experience denudation and are acidic with the low humus content. The soil formed in the upper part of the valleys, particularly on the river terraces and alluvial fans, are very fertile. Here you can see on the map the different types of soil found in India, and this map you will complete as it is in your notebook. Now we will move to the last topic of the chapter, that is the soil erosion and soil conservation. What is soil erosion? The denudation of the soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as soil erosion. The soil erosion is caused due to the human activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction and mining activities. Beside that, some natural forces are also responsible for soil erosion, like the wind, glaciers, water. The running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels such as the gullies. And when the gullies are made, ultimately the land becomes unfit for cultivation. Due to that, it is named as bad land. And in Chambal basins, such type of bad land is called as the ravines. The other form of the soil erosion is the sheet erosion. Sometimes the water flows as a sheet over large areas down a slope. In such cases, the top soil is washed away. This is known as sheet erosion. And many times, the soil erosion occurs due to the blow of the wind also. Wind blows loose soil off flat or sloping land, such as the soil erosion is also caused due to the defective methods of farming, like plowing in the wrong way, that is up and down, and slope form channels for the quick flow of the water, leading to soil erosion. As the soil is eroded, then ultimately we need to take some steps to protect the soil. So the different ways of the soil conservation. Soil conservation could be done in the various ways, and here we will see the 4 different ways. That is called the terrace farming, counter plowing, strip cropping, and making shelter beds. Plowing along the contour lines decelerate the flow of water down the slopes. This is called counter plowing. Terrace cultivation, it restricts the erosion. This type of agriculture practice is done in the western and central Himalayas. Large fields can be divided into the strips. Strips of the grass are left to grow between the crops. This breaks up the force of the wind, and this method is known as strip cropping. Now comes the shelter belt. Planting lines of trees to create shelter also works in a similar way. Like the rows of the such trees are planted, it is referred as a shelter belt, and these shelter belts have contributed significantly to the stabilization of sand dunes and in stabilizing the desert in the western India. So children, here we complete our chapter number 1, resource and development.